What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sunday Live. Twitch, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube. I didn't forget about you, Instagram. What's going on, everybody? Mike from the Fantasy Footballers. Welcome. Sunday Live, last-minute advice, last-minute news updates. And boy, oh boy, it's been a crazy Sunday. We haven't yet, I think, had a Sunday like this where so much commotion is happening. So I'm going to do my best to get all the news, all the updates that have happened, answer some questions. So I like this question a lot because it leads us right into one of the hottest news blurbs of the day. Keith wants to know, Dalvin Cook's out, so I have to choose between Dion Lewis, Royce Freeman, Javorius Allen, half-point PPR. That's the big news. Dalvin Cook out. What a wild ride it was for Dalvin Cook over this week. It went from upgraded to practicing in full. He's good to go. Oh, no, he's going to be on a snap count. No, he's not going to play football at all. Hey, which the obvious thing here is, what do we do with Latavius Murray against Arizona? My answer to that is I'm playing him. I am absolutely playing Latavius Murray as an RB2. He has been very disappointing in the opportunities he's been getting with Dalvin Cook out, but the matchup at home against Arizona is just too juicy, so I am all about it. But to Keith's question, Dion Lewis, Royce Freeman, or Javorius Allen, that leads us to a second news item of the day. Royce Freeman, the Denver Broncos. It's snowing. It's already snowing in Denver. I'm still wearing shorts in Arizona. Well, not lately because it's been rainy, which is really weird. But Denver, it's cold. It's snowy. Running game? I don't know. But Dion Lewis, Royce Freeman, Javorius Allen in a half-point PPR. I think that your safest floor there is still going to be Buck Allen. If you want to go with the narrative that they're going to have to run the ball a little bit more, because we know that cold weather, when it's that cold, we're talking sub-30s, it does make it brings down production for quarterbacks. Historically, we have seen that before. So maybe Denver has to get it running a little bit more. But of those, I would go with Buck Allen. Hayden wants to know, Cameron Brate or O.J. Howard? If you haven't been following the news, you go, wait a minute. O.J. Howard has a sprained MCL. He's not even going to play football this week. You're wrong. O.J. Howard is made of Wolverine blood, apparently, because he's back, ruining all of my sweet Cameron Brate takes. I was all ready to play Cameron Brate. I was going to play Cameron Brate in my flex. Not doing that anymore. Got to move them out. They are both still in that low-end tight end 1 category. Cameron Brate, 3 receptions the past 2 weeks. Caught a touchdown pass in each of those games as well. If I have to choose between the two of them, I'm going to go with Cameron Brate. O.J. Howard, I still expect him to be somewhat limited. He's O.J. Howard, a physical freak, could absolutely go off. But I would still play Cameron Brate over him. If you have Cameron Brate and no better options on your waiver wire for the tight end position, you still got to roll with him. I'm just talking about how my situation was. Cameron Brate was looking mighty fine just to be a flex overall. But I got to move on from that, unfortunately. And so hopefully you have other options. Sarchesto wants to know Keenan Allen, Buck Allen, or Josh Allen. A 2-quarterback question? Man, I get that Josh Allen's disappointing as a human being and a quarterback. Yeah, sorry, Josh, that was a little bit mean. He's been very disappointing as a quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, but I still always play the quarterback if it's a 2 QB league. Ramathorn, Todd Gurley, or Isaiah Crowell? Come on, man. You can't be that scared of the snow. Sitting Todd Gurley. Get out of here. But Isaiah Crowell, that's another good news point. He was missing practice the entire week. However, he got a limited participation on Friday, I believe it was, and they think that he is good to go. Very solid matchup against the Colts for Isaiah Crowell. Low end, mid to high range running back 3. but you know that he can break off the big one, and the Colts, they can give off the big one. Here we go. Paul wants to know, Cooper Kupp with the snow or throw Mike Williams in the flex and pray for a touchdown. I've moved Jared Goff down a wee bit. Our fabulous Eric Ludwig, he writes a weather article every single week on the fantasyfootballers.com. I highly suggest everyone goes and checks it out. He did some snooping, some investigative reporting on Mr. Jared Goff, California boy. This is going to be the coldest weather, according to Eric's research, the coldest weather that Jared Goff has ever played in. The lowest that he could find, lowest temperatures for Jared Goff was in the 40s. I could play football in the 40s. The 20s? Even baby Josh is like, what? I'm not playing football in the 20s. Screw that crap. So I had to move him down. Both Brandon Cooks and Cooper Kupp they're going to play. They're coming out of the concussion protocol. I would still play Cooper Kupp in the snowy game, in the cold game, over Mike Williams. Cooper Kupp has been elite. Touchdown machine. Steve wants to know, Chris Carson or Carlos Hyde in a standard league. I like them both. Think they're both fine plays this week, but I'm going to go with Chris Carson over in London town against the Oakland Raiders. The Seahawks, they've been getting the running game going. Chris Carson, handling that workload as well. Think it took us to week 6, but we've finally settled down in the Seahawks backfield. We know how it's going to shake out. If Chris Carson's available, he's going to be the guy. He's available. He's going to eat all day against the Raiders. Dope. Jack. Do I still play Kupp with weather? Yes, you certainly do. Brandon wants to know Ridley, Drake, or McCoy in the flex. This brings us to another news item. Ryan Tannehill not going to play. He came down with a case of matchup versus the Bears. I wouldn't be playing either. If I'm a quarterback and I'm on a bad team, I guess they're still technically in it, but by my projections, not really going anywhere. And you got to play the freaking Chicago Bears? Yeah, my ankle all of a sudden hurts too, Ryan Tannehill. I don't blame you. So I'm not playing anyone. I'm not playing anyone from Miami with Brock Osweiler. He just got done hanging some wallpaper from his side hustle, and now he's going to play quarterback? No thank you for any Miami Dolphins. So Calvin Ridley in that incredible over-under against Tampa Bay, or Shady McCoy in the flex. Calvin Ridley could certainly give you 2 touchdowns, but I'm going with the workload of Shady McCoy. He was back plus 100 yards from scrimmage this past week. It's ugly. It's brutal. Maybe you don't want to watch the game, but he's going to get the work, and it sounds like he's not going to get traded either, by the way. Donald wants to know, O.J. Howard or Secret of the Ooze, C.J. Uzama. I don't know. I'm never going to get that one right. I'm going to go with C.J. Nice over-under against Pittsburgh for the Cincinnati Bengals. They did draw up 2 plays specifically for the Secret of the Ooze this past week. Let's hope he can get in the end zone. No Tyler Kroft. That's the way I'm going to go versus the guy with the sprained MCL. Jose wants to know, David Johnson, Dalvin Cook, or Phillip Lindsay? Not Dalvin Cook. Got that one. Check. So David Johnson or Phillip Lindsay. This is what we've become, David Johnson and the Arizona Cardinals offense. People want to play Phillip Lindsay over you, David. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the Cardinals. Versus the Vikings. I'm still going to play David Johnson. I'm going with the volume. Phillip Lindsay. I'm curious to see how Phillip Lindsay can perform in the snow with a little bit grosser terrain. I mean, Phillip Lindsay's he's quick twitch. He's not the power back that Royce Freeman is. Let's see if he can hold up, or if Royce Freeman actually gets a little bit more action. That is not me saying I'm going to play Royce Freeman over Phillip Lindsay. That's not what I'm saying. But just will be an interesting thing to watch. Steven, Cooper Kupp or Stephon Diggs? Because you have Diggs, great option, great matchup against Arizona. Patrick Peterson, yes, he's shutting people down absolutely on the season. Go look at his numbers. They are tremendous. He's being dominant. But I'm still going to go with Stephon Diggs. I think he'll get enough action to be worth the play, and that way you avoid the weather. That's just the way I would do it if it was me. Next question. Gerger. Zir? I'm going with Gerger. Wants to know Chris Carson or Josh Gordon. Oh, the Josh Gordon play. The glory play of Josh Gordon Sunday night versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It is alluring, but you got to go with Chris Carson unless what you need is 2 50-yard touchdowns. Then I guess you go with Josh Gordon. But I'm going to go with Chris Carson in this situation. Go with the volume. Still playing a low percentage of snaps. It has risen for Josh Gordon over the past couple weeks. Maybe he's ready. Chris Hogan's a little bit banged up. They expect him to play, but banged up. Maybe they get Josh Gordon on the field a little bit more. But I'm going to go with Chris Carson. Run and gun, 17. The 17th of the Run and Gunners, a prestigious line of handles on Periscope, wants to know Sammy Watkins or Saunders. I believe he means Sanders, as in Emmanuel Sanders, just busting your chops, run and gun. I'm gonna go with Sammy Watkins against the Patriots. What's that? What are we closing that over under at? All right, we're down to 58. I think it was up at 59 for a little bit. The Sharks must have brought the money line or the over-under down. I'm still going to go with Sammy Watkins, though. Sanders is fine. Man, I bet my rankings do say that I would play Emmanuel Sanders. I'm going to have to take a look at that as soon as this is over. But I can't do anything about it right now because I'm answering your questions. ZZ wants to know, add Kiki or Aaron Jones on my bench. Oh, we're talking stash? You got to go with Aaron Jones. You always stash the running back with the upside. Kiki, do you love me? It's fine play. Fine play this week, but Aaron Jones, what he could become if McCarthy would remove head from anus and put Aaron Jones in the game. It may not happen for Aaron Jones, but you got to go with that. You got to go with that. If something happens to that backfield, if it shakes up and Aaron Jones is the man, then Aaron Jones turns into an absolute league winner. So that's who I'm stashing. Joel wants to know Big Ben or Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston for me. Big Ben, I like the matchup against the Bengals. The defense is beatable. I mean, they had a really, really solid game this past week. Divisional game for Big Ben. Should put up numbers, but if you got that option of Jameis Winston, that's the direction that I'm going to go against Atlanta, who's in a divisional matchup himself. So I'm over here talking about the division, baby Josh. That's my argument. Then you go, but Jameis is in a divisional game, and I go, hey, shut up. Don't tell me what to do. I'm going to go with Jameis against that atrocious Atlantis defense. That's how they're playing. They're playing like they're underwater. I meant to say that. Abby wants to know, Ito or Barber? Ito Smith, who will be playing the running back 2 position for the Atlanta Falcons, or Peyton Barber, who will be playing running back 1, 2, or 3 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe this is the week that they really try to get Ronald Jones going. He was the touch leader the past game. It wasn't last week, but 2 weeks ago for Ronald Jones. I'd go with Judge Ito. I'm going to take the ruling from Brooks's buddy, Judge Buddy. Judge Buddies. Next question. Bossett Skib. Where are these names come? Bossett Skib? All right. Risk starting Allison. You better have another option. You better get like Pierre Garçon on your bench. You better get Equanimous St. Brown or Marquez Valdez-Scantling on your bench. Because Geronimo Allison, if you haven't heard, Green Bay Packers wide receiver, he's through the concussion protocol, dealing with his own hamstring situation, though. So you got to be careful. Drew wants to know Doug Baldwin or Sammy Watkins, half-point PPR. What do you do with Doug Baldwin? He was on the field. He was getting snaps. He was getting open. They're just not throwing the ball in Seattle. Woof. I'm going to play Doug Baldwin. You can tell by the tone of my voice, though, I'm not extremely confident in that one. So just ask a different question that I might have better advice for you. But I would play Doug Baldwin. I'm going to go with the number 1 over Sammy Watkins. Magnos Baller. Magnos. Ronald Jones or Michael Crabtree flex, half-point PPR. I don't like the matchup for Michael Crabtree. There's also a little bit of concern of gusty winds. Look out for those gusty winds. And Ronald Jones is merely hypothetical at this point. I think they do try to get him going, but he can't pass block. He can't catch passes. And that's how you beat the Atlanta Falcons, really. So I would go with Michael Crabtree, who has been fine. You know, Michael Crabtree he's been fine. Like, it's really, really hot outside, and what you really desire is a frosty cold beverage, and then someone hands you a room temperature water, and you're like, I guess I'm going to drink it because I'm thirsty. It's fine. That's Michael Crabtree. Lukewarm, tap water. And it's tap. I'm adding that in there, too. This ain't no Dasani. Or who am I? I got Aquafina over here. It's refreshing. Not tap water. It just gets the job done. Nick Acosta wants to know. I don't know what I'm doing. Vance McDonald, Greg Olson, or O.J. Howard. You going to do the Vance dance? You going to go with the foot? Or you going to go with the MCL? You can't dance with a broken foot or a sprained MCL. At least I'm told. Apparently you can play football with those things. You just can't dance. I'm going to do the dance with Vance and no pants. Baby Josh, I'm out of control today. I am out of control. I got to rein it in, but I'm not going to. Next question from Philip. Eric Ebron or Cameron Brate? Easy. Eric Ebron, who is going to play. They need him. I mean, they absolutely need Eric Ebron to come through for the Indianapolis Colts. T.Y. Hilton out again. Let's see. Brandon says, I don't know why you're asking who to start. No one will answer you. Brandon, what am I, chopped liver over here? That's one of this thing. The entire purpose of this Sunday live stream. What are you doing? Get out of here. No, don't leave. I like you. Hey, before I answer any more questions, I want to remind you about jointhefoot.com, our Patreon community. Tons of really cool bonus things, from the fantasy footballers, an extra episode every week, our flex rankings, 4-player start sit tool, bunch of really, really cool things, consistency charts, plus you help support the independent podcast. If you want to check that out, see what we got to offer, jointhefoot.com. We really, really appreciate and love the Foot Clan supporting this show. We love you all, but you got to keep the doors open. So thank you. Jointhefoot.com. Kyle wants to know, Jordan Howard or Nyheim Hines in a PPR? Ooh, the PPR makes Nyheim Hines a little bit interesting. Marlon Mack should be back. Is back, I should say. He's going to be back for the Colts. We'll see what happens. The beat reporters expect him to carry the bulk of the work at the running back position. Of course, Hines will still be the pass catcher. Jordan Howard, we thought he was going to be a cool guy catching passes. That work has gone down over the course of the season. However, Brock Osweiler's playing quarterback for the Dolphins. I like Jordan Howard a lot. I liked him a lot coming into the week because the Dolphins can't stop the run. And now they're going to have no offense. Give me Jordan Howard. Give me 20 carries from the beast, Jordan Howard. Next question. Robert, Sneaky Kiki or Doug Baldwin in a PPR? Sneaky Kiki, I think, has a very, very safe floor in the PPR. Man, but I'm going to go with Doug Baldwin. I hate Doug Baldwin questions right now because what are they doing? I mean, they're running the ball, but 21 pass attempts for Russell Wilson this past week, and one of those went to your number one wide receiver, Doug Baldwin. Gross. Sneaky Kiki is going to get around that 5 target range, but you got to go with the ceiling of Doug Baldwin. Gus, the Gus Bus, wants to know, start Phillip Lindsay or Alex Collins? I would start Phillip Lindsay over Alex Collins. The usage is a concern. It was only one game, but the Glumbles, trademark Glumbles, fantasy footballers, don't rip that off. I mean, you could use it. It's fun. It's fun to say. But those are a concern, and Phillip Lindsay, I think, is just so secure in his role. Let's see what he can do this week in the snow. I already talked about that. Oh, Joseph wants to macho. Ooh, yeah, what's the macho man? That's all you get, though. Brooks, you've been missing out, man. I have been absolutely out of control. And you can hear it in the other room? It's because I'm loud. I'm loud. I'm giving Brad Evans a run for his money with this volume and ridiculosity. I'm coining new words. Pew, pew, pew. Next question. Munich wants to know, Devontae Adams or Mike Evans in a standard? You have to pick? How do you have such an abundance of riches at the wide receiver position that you have to pick between Adams or Evans? Congratulations to you. I'm going to play Devontae Adams. Mike Evans has been sensational, but with Geronimo Allison looking questionable, Randall Cobb questionable, we saw what happened for Devontae Adams, and it was an all-you-can-eat Aaron Rodgers target buffet. I like Devontae Adams against the San Francisco 49ers slightly more than Mike Evans. You got to – wow. That's madness. That's madness to have to make that decision. Geo wants to know. Geo Sounder, I apologize. I don't want to rip you off of your full name there. Start Sony Michel, my fitness consigliere, or Collins. Sony, come on now. I know he's wink, wink, a game time decision. Get out of here. And, of course, this is when Sony Michel gets ruled inactive tonight, and I look like a buffoon. But I'm playing Sony. I'm not preparing for Sony Michel to be out in my money league. It's all systems go against the Chiefs. Huge opportunity for not just one touchdown, but multiple touchdowns. Drew wants to know, Will Fuller or Kiki Kuti? Cooties. One of those that we'll never know. The world will never know how to pronounce his name. I'm gonna go with Will Fuller. You got to go with the upside. Kiki is eating into Will Fuller's workload, of course, but I expect Will Fuller to get his assortment of deep shots from Deshaun Watson, who is playing while DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be a fine play, but it's going to be a tougher day. The coverage will be tougher for DeAndre Hopkins this week, so we should see at least 2 to 3 shots to Will Fuller. Captain Whiskey Breath. Yeah. Moderation over there, Captain Whiskey Breath. Cooper or Callaway in a full-point PPR. And Tony Callaway, of course, should see his opportunity grow. It's a pretty good matchup for Baker and the Cleveland Browns. But I'm going to play – wait. I assume this is Amari Cooper. I was thinking it was Cooper Kupp. So now it's Amari Cooper versus Antonio Callaway. That's a much tougher decision. It's Amari Cooper. Ugh. That's gross. But it's Amari Cooper. Next, what do we got? Oh, we're in the rapid round. Thanks for telling me, fellas. Not. Ooh. You like that sick burn? Sick Wayne's World burn? Bet you feel that one. Nick wants to know PPR flex Corey Davis or Robbie Anderson. I don't want to play Corey Davis at all. The Jimmy Smith experience with the Baltimore Ravens, it's going to be a tough day for the Tennessee Titans offense to really get anything going. But Robbie Anderson, aside from those 2 bombs, really hasn't done anything. Was that the real breakout? Full PPR. I'm going to play Corey Davis. The ceiling is still Robbie Anderson against the Colts, who are banged up on the defensive side of the ball. So if you need nitro, I would go with Robbie Anderson. Otherwise, I'm just going to play it safe and hope that Corey Davis can get you at least 4 receptions this week. Neil Dunn wants to know Godwin or Cooper Kupp due to the matchup and snow in Denver. Got to go with Cooper Kupp. Chris Godwin was out, snapped by Adam Humphries, pronounced with an Humphries, 2 weeks ago when they actually played football. And Cooper Kupp is, he's the number 2 scorer in our league. I don't know what he is in just regular standard leagues, but he's got to be a top 5 guy. He's a beast. I'm going to play him. I'm afraid of the snow and the cold a little bit, but not enough to play Chris Godwin over Cooper Kupp. Let's see. Next question. Bilal Powell, Valdez Scantling, or Randall Cobb? Ooh. I'm going to go with Bilal Powell. I know I've talked about Crowell that I'm going to play him. He will get enough work. But Bilal Powell was still actually the primary ball carrier for the Jets last week, even though Crowell was the one who ran off 200-plus rushing yards. Powell has been the guy. So with Crowell a little bit banged up, I'm going to go with Bilal Powell. Travis just asked, are you worried about Crowell being limited? A little bit. Certainly a little bit, and that's why he's a running back 3. But, man, the upside is great. Alex wants to know Lamar Miller or Josh Gordon. I'm going to play Josh Gordon over Lamar Miller, who's been banged up. Terrible at the game of football. Alfred Blue was equally as productive as Lamar Miller has been in the past few weeks. If he loses any volume to Alfred Blue, it's done. Lamar Miller for fantasy is absolutely done if that happens. Deontay Foreman is coming back. That's not this week, but just saying it looks like they might be making the transition away from Lamar Miller. Skip Jones wants to know Cameron Newton or Jared Goff. Whew. You got to scoot that booty with the booty scooting Cam Newton over Jared Goff just for this particular weekend. Hey, it's every week. I'd probably play Cam Newton over Jared Goff. But this weekend in particular, I'm going to go with booty scooting Cam Newton. Keegan wants to know Royce Freeman or Mike Davis. I would play Mike Davis if I had him. I think that he is a fine play. Chris Carson is the main guy, but it will not shock me to see Chris Carson around that 18 touches. Meanwhile, Mike Davis right around 12. He got the touchdown last week, so they're not fully committed to Chris Carson being the goal line guy. I think that Mike Davis is a fine play. We're coming up on the end of the stream. I want to remind you real quick, jointhefoot.com. Please go check it out, the Patreon community. Tons of bonus perks for supporting the show. And then I really hope you guys have a good week. But I'm going to answer just a couple more real fast. Alt Power 11? He's got the 11. It's Stephon Diggs or Odell Beckham. Hey, guys, would you play Stephon Diggs or Odell Beckham? What are you doing, man? Beckham already played. I'm just busting your chops. A couple more questions real quick. Softball girl wants to know Mo Sanu or Carlos Hyde in a full-point PPR. Ooh. Wow. The full-point PPR makes that really difficult to sit Mohamed Sanu, and that's who I'm going to play. Big over-under. Wow. That's a really tough call, but I'm going to play Sanu. Start O.J. Howard or Jeff Swaim in a standard league. I'm going to play Jeff Swaim. And last one, the Fantastic Five wants to know Brandon Cooks or John Brown. PPR. Both have their own weather concerns. Their weather concerns. Brandon Cooks is my call. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow on the Fantasy Footballers podcast. Never, ever, ever forget, you're beautiful. Goodbye. See you next time.